Now before I go for this one, I want to talk about this thread scheduler, guys. What it is? And set of instructions which is following some algorithm, that is step by step sequences. Okay. Now what is this thread scheduler means? Let us talk about this one for a while. Thread scheduler. Okay. Thread scheduler. So thread scheduler is where honestly it is within the Java, that is JVM, right? So it is being the part of what? JVM. Okay. Thread scheduler. So this thread scheduler is responsible to execute the threads. It is responsible to execute what, guys? Responsible to execute threads. In which order the threads are going to get execute? That's impossible. We cannot predict. It is an algorithm. They are going to use different sequence of steps. Okay. Now, but we can tell that one thing, the thread which is having higher priority, what this fellow is introducing a new word called priority. You might be having some trouble in your mind. Okay. No need to worry. We are going to discuss that one to next this topic. Okay. Now, priority means what? I mean, highest numeric value means that is having high priority. Technically, try to understand. It is not like priority as one means it should go first. Not like that. Okay. Here technically we are talking that one in reverse way. Okay. Try to understand the subject in technical way. So the highest priority thread will get execute first. Highest priority thread is going to get execute. Highest priority thread executes first. Later lowest priority thing. Okay. Lowest priority threads later. It's very important. Okay. Now, and what is the other one means? What is the case? See guys, if you take any alphanumeric things, and there are three things, right? What is less than 0, other one is greater than 0, and exactly 0, right? But it is priority. We cannot give the negative ranking. Negative priority, but we are having we are having some max range, and also we are having some min range in our Java. That was internally implemented by the Sun Microsystem, so that we have to adapt it, we have to follow those things. Okay, you are following, we are developing the application on the Java platform, so you have to you are required to follow their rules. Okay, try to understand. So what if the case, okay, high priority and low priority? What if the case if number of two or more threads are having same priority, and in which order the threads are going to get execute? That's also very important. So in that case we cannot predict which thread is going to get execute first. It depends upon the thread scheduler algorithm internally what it is using. Okay, what it is using. Okay, so same priority for multiple, same priority for one or more threads means what is going to get happen, which thread is going to get happen, then we cannot expect the order in which they get execute. Then we cannot expect the order in which they get execute. Okay, in which they get execute. Why? Because it depends upon the thread scheduler algorithm in which they get execute. Now this is what the thread scheduler, and if you want to discuss much about that one internally, it is going to use only the thread priority. We are having some default priorities, and also we are having some child inheriting default priorities also. We are going to discuss that one, which is next to this topic. Okay, now this is what the thread scheduler thing. Now let us go for the overloaded and overriding methods of the start method. Okay, now try to understand this one, guys. Now we are having one class A which extends thread. Okay, which extends thread. See what is happening here. I am going to see through inheritance which is available, a feature of our Java. We are going to inherit whatever the parent is having by default to the child, right? How those things are going to get happen, how those things are going to get identified at runtime means you have to understand, you have to be good in OOP concept. No need to worry, but I'll give an adequate knowledge here to follow this one. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is once again, now try to observe this one. Okay, extends. See here, there is one public static void method. Okay, public static void method. So this is with respect to the overloading. Okay, overloading of Okay, we'll discuss about overloading start method and overloading run method. What is going to get happen? Let us see that one. You have to, I mean, no need to mug up anything. You have to be good in concepts only. Okay, that is what an analysis. Okay, you have to be good in logic. Okay, now think that we are having some piece of code. First, let me go and overload. What is that? Public void start. Let it be like int I. Okay. Now here we are having implementation as what? SOP of hi am start method. Okay, very good, it is start method. Okay, now see here I am going to call, that is what? Thread. T is equals to new thread. Okay, now T dot start. Now what is going to get happen? You should give the answer to me, and also I am going to take no run method. Okay, no run method, it is what? End of the class. It's very important, guys, but understand the concept. Like these examples you can put any number. Okay, but understand the concept, try to understand the concept at all the corners, so that you can frame your own examples. Okay, don't go directly for the examples, that's very bad thing. Okay, now see, now what is going to get happen? Of course I have loaded my class, which is called as before that I have compiled, it has been compiled successfully. Okay, before that I have compiled my class. What is that? A dot java, and a dot class file has been generated, or bytecode has been generated by the compiler, which is called as dot class file. Okay, now so now what is going to get happen? JVM is going to get load here, right? So JVM is going to get load. After that main thread is going to be created by JVM, and one runtime stack. Okay, one runtime stack will get created for the main thread. After that main thread is going to locate the dot class file, right? It locates the dot class file and loads that one. Okay, and now what is going to get happen here? It will execute the main method. Okay, it will execute the main method by passing one dimension string array as an argument, which is having size as 0. It will call in language fundamentals. We are going to see this one. Okay, now after that that is it loads and locates and loads the dot class file. After that it starts the execution of main method, and it completes the execution of main method. Later what is going to do? After completing the execution of main method, it is going to destroy the runtime stack. Okay, runtime stack which has been created for whom? Main thread. Okay, runtime stack created for the main thread, runtime stack of main thread. Understand this one, guys? And after that main thread is going to be in dead state. Main thread in dead state. Okay, main thread is in dead state. Later the JVM goes into the shutdown mode, right? Dead state. Later the JVM goes into shutdown mode. Okay, shutdown. Okay, now try to observe this one, guys. Now when this, I mean whenever I loaded this piece of code, these things are going to get happen, right? Now for the main thread has been started, for that a runtime stack has been created. Okay, runtime stack has been created. You have to understand these basics in this way only. Later we can rush, because later if I put any big code, you should not be in strange why this fellow is writing like this. Okay, that's why I'm giving a brief and very clear cut explanation here. Try to utilize this thing. Okay, now so what is going to get happen here? Main method is going to be loaded. We have seen that how it is going to get load. Okay, now which is having implementation as what? This implementation, these two pieces of instructions. Okay, now thread T is equals to new thread. So in memory what is going to get happen? An instance of. Okay, now I am going to use one thing, guys, here. Okay, just for your sake, to make you guys understand about what is that underlying object. Of course thread by default implements runnable interface. So parent reference can be used to hold the child object or child literal. Of course why I am spelling literal you will come to know in language fundamentals. Okay, now so runnable thing. So because of this one, as I said earlier, what it is going to be, how it is going to be done, it is going to be pushed into the stack, right? That is what? Semicolon thread constructor, other one is what? New operator, and what is that? Assignment, and later one thread, right? This thing, right? So last in first come policy. What is that? stack. So just take it out. What is this? Thread. And of course before this we are having what? I mean identifier, right? What is that? T, right? Try to understand this one. Thread. T is equals to what it is? New. And after that, see, new means what it is going to do? It is going to execute that one. So and memory allocation will be done. That is what we are representing here. Okay. Think that it is having some unique reference like 99AB. Okay. 99AB. What is that? Hexadecimal of hash code which has been generated by the object class native method for the first time. For that native method, it is generating some, what is that? Int, right? Int value, that is unique identifier of memory. I mean unique identification related to the memory. For that they are going to append some extra numbers and they are going to convert that into the hexadecimal thing. That we are going to tell as a reference. If I do put this value in any of the identifier of course what is the type of this object? It is what? Thread. Okay, it is of type thread. How I am telling it is of thread type? Because of this constructor. So why? The thread class, sorry, the class name and the constructor names must and should be same. So I am telling that with confidence. With what? With which darness you are telling that it is an object of type thread means this is the reason. Okay, no need to worry. Okay, try to discuss it in technical way. Okay, now, okay, reference. Now do we have any data member here? No. Yesterday we have done one mistake. I have taken what? Runnable target, but it is what? I mean private in what? In our thread class. So that is not going to get inherit to the child class. Okay, now I'm sorry, it is not a child class instantiation, it is capital T thread only. Okay, yesterday we have done that one. Okay, now what is going to get happen? All the things are going to get be initialized with the default value. So default value for user defined data types is what? Null. Okay, what is user defined data type? We are going to discuss in language fundamentals. Now try to observe this one carefully. What I am doing here, I am calling the constructor. Okay, because of constructor call only this target, runnable target is equals to null has been happened. Now what I am doing here, so the least precedence in this particular statement is what? First is the new operand. New operator is having the highest precedence. Okay, which is having almost the second precedence in our Java, and later the last precedence in our Java is the assignment things only. After evaluating the right operand side related things, it is going to assign that value to the left hand side operand type. Okay, so what is this one in operators? We are going to discuss this one in detail. No need to worry, so that you will be in position to develop your own methods, not the methods which has been already predefined one. That is not the behavior of software engineer. Okay, you have to develop your own methods. Okay, now, so I am assigning that to the T variable. Okay, so T identifier. So in turn it will be having some reference T. Okay, now what it will be like? 24CC. Okay, now this T is an identifier of type what? Runnable. Okay, runnable. So it is going to contain the value as what? 99AB. Now tell me what is this value and what is this value? This object reference is 99AB, right? And what it is containing? 99ABC. And it is what? Don't get confused with this 24CC. It is what? It is the reference for this T. That is through which I can see without any identification how JVM can identify that one. See, if you know my name, you can identify me. Otherwise you will be calling me as a strange person, right? That's not, that should not get happen. Of course JVM is what? It's an executor, but we should impose some commands on her, or we should give some set of instructions to her to execute. So we have to learn that one first. Okay, that's why reference is also necessary for each and every identifier. Also you will be getting a clear idea about that one in in operators. There you will do will be doing analysis at all the corners. Okay, now, so now what we are doing, we are assigning that one to this one. So before here, what it is going to be check here, right? The compiler is going to check what is this underlying object type. It is thread. So thread literal, that is child burdens can be assigned to the parent or not. Of course we can assign, but parent burdens you cannot assign to the child or children. We are going to discuss this in language fundamentals. You will come to know. Okay, from language fundamentals only everything has been derived, honestly speaking. If you are good in the pure basic fundamentals, means I am sure that you can feel very, very comfort in all the remaining higher technologies of Java. Okay, now see, indirectly this T is referring what? Which one? this one, right? It is referring this one now, right? Now, as I said earlier, whenever an instance has been created, what is going to be get happen? It is going to associate all the methods which are available in this corresponding object class. So, which methods are available in thread class? Of course, we are having start, okay, and of course we are having run, which is having implementation as what? If target is not is equals to null, then target dot run, okay, it's very very important, okay. Now start method is having some implementation, and also we are having some other methods, and later it will go for the class, I mean it will go and it will get some inheritance future, so that it is going to associate some of the methods with this instance, that is instance methods will get associated with this object, okay. Let it be like 11 methods from the object class. We are going to discuss even about this, okay. Now try to observe here, this thing has been happened because of this particular statement. Guys, understand this one in this way only, technically, okay. If you go technically and if you get update technically in more way, that is well and good, but this is the basic thing for each and every student. Even the student who is having zero level of knowledge in Java, it is must, you have to understand these things in this way only, okay. No need to worry. And what is class means, everyone will be having doubt about that. We are going to clear all the doubts in language fundamentals, okay. Now, so now tell me, which is the underlying object in this statement? What is the underlying object type? Underlying object is thread, and its type is what? Thread only. That's very very important. We have used parent identifier in order to hold the child object. That's very very important. Now what is the underlying runtime object? It is a thread object. That's very very important. That's the meaning of this one, okay. Underlying runtime object is what? You have to see, if you want to tell this one means, you have to see the constructor name. If I use here what? Think that I have used here what? Implements, okay. Implements runnable, okay, but it is not here in this case. But to make you guys clear about this, now if I do here, instead of new thread, if I use new a means, now forget about this one, runnable t is equals to new a. Now tell me, which is the underlying object? By using this constructor name, you have to tell the underlying object type is what? A. Don't get confused, it's technically very very important, okay. Underlying object is what? A, okay. Now, okay, even if you didn't get this one, now we are going to discuss this in more detail in OOP concepts, okay. Now there will be less chances for you to commit the mistakes in overriding and overloading. I know that even if you do OCJP level, overriding and overloading concepts means definitely you will be having trouble. I know that, because there we are not doing a very good analysis. There is one very big concept there, okay. You have to good in it, okay.